morning. How is that new house division? Is everybody all pumped up, charged, ready to go? Ready. I'm tired. All right, raise your hand if you're tired of the heat. You too tired to raise your hand? Not surprising, not surprising at all. Before I introduce our lunch sponsor, I need to do a shameless plug for something that I have going on, and I would love for y'all to help. I am having what I am calling a pet palooza on September 12th. You all know I love pets. I'm even like rebranding. I put a little pet paw print in my logo and everything. We're going to have vendors all out here selling pet goods and services. And then we're offering pet portraits at an office room inside of the office. So it's going to be from 10 to 2. What I really need y'all's help with is if you know anybody in pets. Are y'all listening or is everybody distracted? Okay. If you know anybody who like sells pet stuff, who does pet services, you have a favorite groomer, I really want this to be a great place for the pet people and the pet providers, like all the states. I just want to connect people. So if you've got anybody that you love that helps you with your pets, please let me know. And I'd love to send them a link and see if they want to do a booth. It's free.
Okay, September what again?
Go from 10 to 2. And then, without further ado, I think she's making her way this way. Yes, she is. So today we have Miss Deanna. I didn't catch your last name, Deanna.
Deanna Spence.
Deanna Spence with Russo Health.
Yeah.
And she has brought us lunch today and has some information to share with you about what they have going on. So welcome and thank you very much for being here.
Much. Yeah, so how's everyone's day going? Y'all look like I had a day already. I understand. So I've done a full 2 appointments this morning already, but it has been a day. But I'm grateful to have a little bit of your time. I just wanted to talk briefly about Caruso Homes and what we offer in the area. Has anyone in the room sold a Caruso home just yet? Okay, let me just
Great station.
Okay, yeah, you told me that. I'm sorry. Just anyone else? Brand Station. Okay, so yep, right there around the corner. Okay, awesome. So Caruso Homes has been in business for 40 years, but we're very new to the Raleigh area. We've only been in the Raleigh area for about 10 years. And so we're still trying to get our name out there and meet as many people as possible so that they know that we are an option for their buyers as well. We are a semi-custom home builder, and so what that means is that if your buyer has like specific things that they're wanting, a lot of times I'll meet buyers and they're like, I love this house, but if it had a fireplace, I will buy it. Those are things that we can do. And so even if it's a completed spec home, if the client is wanting something that they're going to add to their home, we have the ability to do that. And so that's one of the things that makes us a little bit different from your typical spec builders in the area is that we do have the ability to customize our homes to another level that a lot of builders cannot do unless you're going fully custom. A little bit about myself. I have been in real estate since, I'm still considering myself kind of new. I've been in real estate since 2019. I've only done new construction. I've been with a couple of builders. I worked for McKean Homes, I also worked for True Homes, and now I'm with Caruso. And so I've been doing the semi-custom, the new construction for a little bit now. And currently right now with Caruso, I sit at our South Lake Towns community in the Flowers Plantation area. And so if any of you are familiar with Flowers Plantation, it's about 20 minutes from here, and it's one big master plan community. One thing that a lot of people love about the Flowers Plantation, specifically buyers, is that you can walk to everything. And so you can walk to the grocery store, you can walk to the Waterfront District, which is a upcoming development where they're adding additional restaurants, additional shopping. They're trying to make the area similar to like a Fenton or North Hills area. And so that's currently what they're working on right now. The other benefit about the area is that it's a low tax rate. So your tax rate in that area is 0.64%, which is extremely low for other areas in Johnson County and Wake County as well. Have any of you guys sold in Flowers Plantation before? Okay, so you guys are familiar with the area. And so that would be one of the biggest highlights. So if you're working with someone who's like I have to be close to everything, but I want affordability at the same time. Flower Plantation is definitely a great area to consider because of the low tax rate. And so that will be one of the biggest things I say. I get a lot of people specifically from New York, New Jersey. I'm originally from New York, so it's always the moment I meet someone from New York, a buyer is instantly connected. They're buying something with me because they're from New York. And so I see a lot of people from up north that are used to the walkability, are coming down to the Flower Plantation area specifically because of that. What else can I say? Okay, so specifically about South Lake Town, I'll put a flyer on here for everyone to see. Um, it's very simple. We have two different floor plans. We have our Seneca and our Sens. So our Sens is going to be all of our in units. They're going to be about 2,600 square feet. Very large compared to your average townhome. The Sen, when you guys come out there, it feels very similar to like a single family home, although it is a townhome. One of the things that make it a little bit different than anything in the area is that we do have the option to do large 26 by 12 decks that can be covered and also screened. And so that's one thing that I've seen people lean towards a lot is having that screen-in deck on their home. We do also have waterfront lots as well. So if someone wants a water view, that is something that we have available. And then we also do elevators in our townhomes too. So for your retired, older clientele that tell you like townhome is an absolute no because it's too many steps, bring them over because we do have elevators. And I've had a lot of people that actually have selected to do the elevator in their homes. That will be a pre-sale opportunity, so it's a 6 to 9 month time frame. However, I do have 2 specs coming up where we already are going to install the elevators because we saw so much demand for it. We decided to start doing some specs with elevators, so I should have that soon as well. All of the townhomes, both townhomes have a bedroom on the first floor. One is going to be 4 bedrooms. The other one is going to be 4 bedrooms in an office that could potentially be used as a 5th bedroom as well. We do specs and then we also do pre-sales. And so if you have someone again that is very picky, we can send them to our design studio in Raleigh. They can pick out everything in the home from structural, design, everything and put it together the way they want it. And then currently, we just opened a community up in May, but it's going pretty well. We sold 10 homes so far. And currently, I just got a bunch of spec homes that just got completed. And so I put that list on here for you guys. One thing that we're doing for all of our completed specs is we are doing an additional 2,500 broker bonus. I have some bags for you guys out there, some really cool things in those bags for you. And on top of there will be a card that says a $2,500 agent bonus. That is not just for my community, that will be for any Caruso Homes community. And so if you have someone that might not necessarily want to be in Clayton, they want to be in Raleigh, Fuquay, I can help you in any of those communities, and that $2,500 agent bonus will apply for any of that. And that's to the end of this year. But you do have to have that card with you, so just make sure you keep that. In order to get that additional agent bonus. Okay, I've said a lot. Anyone has any questions, any comments, anything that I can go a little bit more in details about?
No, I can comments. Yeah, I thank you very much. We get a lot of people coming in with houses, neighborhoods they're handling.
Yeah,
And I've got a lot to offer. I'm really glad you came. That whole elevator thing, you're right. I'm trying to sell a 2-story townhouse right now.
Yeah.
And it's not in a 55 plus, but where that type of person would want to buy. And
yeah.
Getting turned down left and right because there's no elevator and there's too much stuff upstairs.
Yeah.
So good call on that.
Yeah, the elevator has been a game changer for us. It is a $60K price upgrade.
That's okay. The pricing is pretty good to begin with, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we're starting at $349, and then $399 for our larger unit. We tested out the elevator and we were surprised to see how many people selected. I even have like younger, healthy people that are still selecting to put the elevator in it. Just because they're thinking about their future and resale value as well.
And also like just carrying groceries and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
There are 3 stories, aren't they?
So there are 3 stories. Yeah. Your kitchen and your main like living area will be on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's just carrying groceries,
Okay.
whatever you're carrying inside, and yeah, very convenient. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
On the waterfront,
I'm sorry.
will there be a premium on the waterfront?
Yep. So we started off with a 10K premium, sold out of that really quick. I only have one left with the 10K premium. Everything else that I have available, I have to be at a 25K premium, and then I have some coming at a 50K premium. So we're gradually increasing when it comes to the water lots at the premium. There's only gonna be technically 5 buildings that will back up to the water, so they're very limited. Which is why we're of course going up with the premiums as we continue to sell. Yeah.
And the food.
I'm sorry. So your HOA is 195. Flowers do have their own yearly due, which is 365. And that takes care of like flowers that they have like private rows. That takes care of the maintenance of the entire flowers area. But the specific community dues is 195. They maintain the outside of the home, your power washing, your land, your lawn maintenance, your landscaping, and then we will have like a little sitting area by the water as well as a amenity for people in the community. We're right behind. Have you guys seen like the new Chick-fil-A that just opened up? We're right behind that new Chick-fil-A, right across from Bailey's Academy. I get a lot of clients specifically who kids go to that school. They just want to be able to walk to the school. And so, yeah, so definitely in a growing area. There's a lot coming to that area. So definitely a great investment. We do sell investors too. So if any of y'all want to invest, come and see me. Because we have a 20% cap. And so far, everyone that I've sold to is primary resident. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deanna.
Thank you. One thing I do want to say before I leave is if any of you are working with a buyer that is a little bit struggling with issues like financing issues or not able to get approved just yet, definitely bring them over to see the community. One thing that I've noticed with Caruso specifically is they're very flexible with working with clients. So I have a client that just went under contract that is pre-approved with conditions and has a lot of things that they need to work on. We got them on the contract and they're not going to move into their home until another year from now. And so it gives them ability to secure the home that they want at the price that it is now, while my preferred lender works with them with improving their credit, paying down their debt, and getting them to a better place so that they can be ready to close when their home is completed. And so we're very flexible with things like that. If you do have a buyer that is struggling a little bit on the financing, we can still get them on the contract and work with them and improve their credit so that by the time their home is completed, they can close.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
All right, thank you so much for your
you.
time. You guys enjoy the food. I'm gonna leave the bags out there for you. I have some really cute Stanleys in there, some phone accessories, so make sure you grab one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Deanna. Appreciate you very much. Have a good
Have a
day.
good day, guys.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a good start to what I'm positive is going to be an even equally as good finish to the class today because we are honored to have Lauren Wagner. Honored. Listen, you guys get to work with Lauren all the time, but for those of us who don't, it is an honor to be in the presence of Lauren Wagner, who is going to be talking to us about the automated agent. And what I think that we're talking about is how to organize yourself better so that you're not clawing all the time because I feel like we're always clawing to get our business done. And I think you're going to help us with some of that. So
I'm gonna try.
well, come on up here, Lauren, and take it away.
You, I work with, or I've worked with, or your pseudo teammates, or my,
We have a lot of people on Zoom too, Lauren.
yes, okay, so I'm not gonna do the whole song and dance.
Do you got a clicker?
Have one.
Sweet.
I saw Justin last week and I went and got it. But, okay, so all right. I'm not, you guys all know who I am. If you're on Zoom and you don't know who I am, Lauren Wagner, I work with the April Stevens team and most of everybody in this room. So I'm just going to talk through a little bit about how I have learned in the last year how to implement a system in my business that has made me what I feel is a more effective, better agent all around. And it's not super hard. And a lot of it is automated with AI. But the biggest takeaway today is like you can automate as much as you want in your business, but you cannot automate a relationship. That is the most important thing that we need to give our clients. So I'm going to show you how to take 80% of your business and hopefully be able to automate that so you have room for that 20%. That's weird, that like is never gonna happen again, is a once in a lifetime thing. Because I mean, let's face it, real estate's weird. So, great. So talk a little bit about it. So I've been in the business, September is 4 years. So that first year I was in real estate, I was like, I'm gonna sell 20 houses. And Justin said, we were on the team together, and he said, I'm gonna sell 20 houses. And Polly said, y'all are crazy. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You guys cannot, you are a brand new agent, there is no way. So I sold 20 houses my first year, right? And it about killed me, but I did it. That was in 2023. So I got my license September 2022, 2023, put my first thing under contract for $63,000. I think I made, when all was said and done, about $500 in my first commission check, and it was the best thing on the face of the planet, right? So sold 20. Market was still like moving, things were still good. Second year turned around, sold 28 units, 11 million in real estate. Woohoo, second year in the business. And I was feeling really good about myself, right? Like it was like, who says this job is hard? This job is so easy. Like, okay, 2020, so that was 2024, 2025 rolled around. Ooh, okay, got my ass kicked big time. And all that arrogance that I had of being that like new agent selling, 50 homes in my first 2 years, all of that shifted that second year or third year, I'm sorry. And I had to scrape and grind for every single thing that I sold. I had 5 houses go back on the market 3 times. So I had to sell the same 5 homes 3 different times. Right. So what is that? 15 times that you're literally doing for 5 transactions, because deals were falling through. People were literally like lending issues. I mean, you name it, it was, but my point in saying all of that, right? That still probably looks really good to most agents. Like most agents would be like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. What happened is halfway through that third year, I keep saying the market shifted, and I literally had nothing in front of me. I had no prospects. I had nothing in my pipeline, absolutely nothing. So I was literally starting from ground zero. Everything that I had up until June of 2025 was all stuff that I had worked on when I sat down and I looked at it for the last probably year for all intents and purposes. So every day I felt like, oh my God, like I have a million things in my brain and I just can't keep up. And I've got all these deals falling through, and I've got all these like appraisals starting to come back in, and there's all these discrepancies, and I've got this agent on the other side, and she's lying to me about this deal, and I've got this. And then I literally had an agent lie to me and said, my clients are not moving here from Florida. Their house, they're going to take it off the market. I looked on Zillow 3 days later, and their house had gone under contract, and that agent was under contract on a new construction home down the street. Like, I mean, that's what I was dealing with. And I was like, this business is not for me. I just really don't think this is awful. I can't do it. Like, this is just too much. Trying to be present as a mom, as a wife, all the things, right? We all feel that way. I know, like maybe not as a wife for some of you, but as a husband, boyfriend, whatever. Okay. All right. So, yep, felt like I was fighting for my life. Sorry, I'm new to this little clicky thing. All right. So I spent all my time problem solving. And then Kelly Matthews asked me, she said, and I was like, literally, like, if you were on the team last year with me and you were aware of any of this, like, I mean, I was like down all the time. And Kelly said, Warren, when's the last time you called anybody from your sphere? And I was like, because I'm sitting there, I'm giving every excuse why I have no business. And she's like, when's the last time you just picked a phone, made a phone call? And I was like, like 6 months. 6 months it had been that I had not called anybody, not a sphere, not a past client, nothing. So all the woe is me was like, oh, but maybe it's on me. And I'm trying to do all this, and I can't seem to get this to all connect. And so that was like a pretty big like aha moment, right? Because it's like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter, guys. The interest rate can be what it is. The market can shift. You can have crappy agents on the other side, but if you do not have an operating system within your business, how you do things that work for you, you're not going to ever have a pipeline, and you're not going to ever have a process, and you're not going to ever have listings lined up and buyers that are ready to go. It just that was the reality I had to learn. So I started really, really small. Okay. So a lot of you on the team, you know that I talk about the 5 for 5 all the time, right? So, and a lot of you, if you don't know this, I am like borderline, like fangirl obsessed with like Kyle Whistle and Dan Beers and those guys, right? And it's because I get on these calls every Monday and it's like what they're giving you is so simple, but it's so valuable. So Dan Beers has an agent out of Southern California. His name is Brian Danny. And if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, you need to. Okay. As a solo agent, Brian Danny literally did $100 million consistently for like 6 years in a row on his own as one agent. And so one day he was teaching one of the fast forward movements, and somebody said, Brian, wow, how in the world did you do this? Right? He said, it's pretty simple. He said, I do 5 phone calls every day, 5 emails, 5 texts, 5 social touches, 5 DMs. That's it. Every single day, Monday through Friday. Before I do anything, before I open my computer, that is what I'm doing. And the guy said, well, who are you calling? And he said, I'm calling people in my sphere. I'm calling past clients. I'm calling for sale by owners. Whatever it is on the agenda that day, that's what I do. And I said, huh. So he has, the thing is, I had seen it. He teaches now. He's pretty much like a prominent coach within the real estate world out in California. And he has something called the Agent Academy. And so he teaches this. And he also tells you have to find things that work for you, right? So this is what worked for me, but like maybe it doesn't work for you. So something that Brian is really big on is he talks a lot about acts of kindness. So that for me resonated because I am an acts of kindness person. That's my number one love language. I know that about myself. And what was happening is I realized when I sat down and I looked at my business, I'm like, I'm spending so much time on pop buys and open house favors and all of this. And not to say that I don't love this, but what is this return bringing me, right? Is this the best use of my time? And where can I dial this down and implement it into a daily system? That's literally the conversation I had to have. So I was like, all right, what if I broke it out to 5 acts of kindness a month, right? And I incorporated the thing that I love, which is like a Popeye or dropping a meal off for somebody or whatever that is into my 5 for 5. So that's what I did. For you, it may look different. For me, that's what I had to do with having a young kid, a husband that travels for work, and having a full-time career that all of us know is this business. So that's what I started doing. So that really started to work, and I started to see the fruits of that. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. All right. So, yep, you have to systemize your strengths. What brings you joy? What are you naturally good at? You have to really sit down and think about that. So, and a system doesn't have to be super impressive. It doesn't have to be something that you built in Claude Cowork. And I have that stuff and I can show you guys how to do that. But if that's not how your brain works and that's not what's good for you, you can't do it. You have to just sit down and know, what am I going to do every single day that 6 months from now, when I don't have a closing to give me that endorphin rush? Because we all know you get somebody under contract, you're already counting the commission check. You're already like, I have this house under contract. Look at me. 6 months from now, if you have nothing going on a random Tuesday, right? Can you still sit here and fulfill this? And I knew that that's something I could do. I could do 5 for 5 every single day, no matter what was going on in my life, because literally, if you turn your social media off, if you turn all your distractions off and you sit in a place, you can do it and you can knock it out in less than an hour. That's all it takes. You have to prioritize it. So then started to think more and more about it. And I was like, all right, so I'm doing these 5 touches every day and I'm sending these emails and I'm sending these texts. And, I feel like I'm writing the same thing over and over again, right? Because of course I'm personalizing it for the person that I'm sending it to. But it's like I'm saying the basis of the same thing. So how can I be better that I can literally now take that and minimize the time that I'm spending on this even more so that I'm not sitting here for an hour and maybe I'm only sitting here for 30 minutes because sometimes that's all we have, right? We have a full day. So started to think about that. And then I started to think, okay, so I went to my AI and I said, I need a when, where, what, how system. And so Claude, literally, that's where I started. I went into, I prefer Claude. I know chat's great, Claude, whatever. Well, you have to do whatever works for you. I really like Claude because I'm a Google person, and Claude and Google are like besties, and it just works for how my brain works. But I know that chat will do the same thing. Both platforms you have to pay for, but I think it's more than worth it. So I had all these SOPs and everything that I had written out, over the years. And I was like, I uploaded those and I just told Claude, I need you to give me a when, where, what, how system to run my business. So that became all right. So a CRM. So you guys all know on the team, I'm obsessed with Follow Up Boss. I love it. Maybe not as much as Jason, but I mean, it's neck. We're pretty close. And so I was like, all right. So my win, my remember win is my CRM, right? So everything sits in my CRM. So everything that's in your phone has to be in your CRM. I don't care if they're not going to buy or sell from you. Are they going to tell somebody about you? Because I promise you, I will show you literally how that system works. And I was on Facebook the other day. I had 3 people from my sphere that have never bought or sold with me that were recommending me as the agent to work with a lady that was looking for a realtor. That's why this is so important. You're not going to see all of this right away. This is a long game. This is not a short game. You have to be willing to kind of say and be consistent, right? So just a little side note. So Google Drive, all right. So I was like playing around with boards a lot. And I had this app and I had that app. And then I'm like, I got to get rid of all of that because it's just too much. It's too much that I have. So Google Drive became my remembers where. So everything I have lives in Google Drive. Every listing, every client, every buyer goes in as their name, right? Every listing goes in as the address. So that way I know I'm not looking for anything else under, oh, how did I save that? What did I do? Everything, every doc, every signed document, everything all goes into Google Drive. The importance of that is literally because what happens is I'm at Riley's cheer competition and I've got an agent that's like, hey, I can't find the septic permit. And you're like, well, it's in the docs. But they're like, yeah, no, I can't find it. So I would have to stop everything I was doing, go outside, find reception, and send the septic permit. Now I don't have to do that anymore because it lives in Google Drive and it's a link and I drop it to the agent. Done. Now you have all the docs. So tell me what else you need. So that became that system for me that literally took so much anxiety out of my day-to-day life of like when I want to turn off realtor Warren and be mom. Template. So right now I have 84 templates for email. I'm not saying you guys have to have that many, but what I've done is don't look at me like that. So that I know that's excessive, right? We're going to talk about that, but for me right now, that looks like 84. Okay, so that literally is down to everything that I've had happen in my business up until this point, and I will talk to you guys about how to do this later on, has been built out into 84 templates. And that plug and play and having that in your CRM to literally, I had an agent call me. I was on my way to get my eyebrows done on Monday. And I had an agent, and he's like, I'm ready to write an offer on Cedardale, but I don't know where anything is. And I said, give me 5 minutes. I literally pulled in the parking lot. It was one template, one link, boom, done. And I walked into my appointment. That's it. Like, I mean, no stress, no anxiety, no sitting there getting my eyebrows done. Cause I know, maybe not your eyebrows, but you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. I have this appointment and I'm trying to put myself first, but I also have to like make sure this agent gets it. For me to sell this house. Like we've all been there. So that's what those templates have done for me.
You mean like, awesome. What did you have in the template?
Everything that they needed to know about the lot.
Said all about the lot. Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was like neighborhood stuff, like what was around.
Yes. So so basically what my templates are is like I have a template for introductions, I have a template for buyer, I have a template for seller, I have a recap template. I've got a template for, oh, you want to see Cedardale or you're interested in this lot? Here you go. Here's this template. Like it's already it's generic and it's all there, but it allows me just to plug and play. And the links for whatever they're interested in are already embedded into this template that lives in Follow Up Boss. And you do all of this in your Follow Up Boss by just like making an email split. Yeah.
You give them more information than they ask for that way.
Every time because they're going to ask 10 more questions after that.
Okay.
All right. So SOPs, those are really important. Like you have to have, so short on the team, right? We have an SOP for everything. Okay. But that wasn't enough for me because I don't necessarily do every single thing that's on there, or I do it my way, or I do it a little different. Sorry, Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like we all like me, like, I wanted it to be exactly from start to finish how Lauren meets with a buyer for a consultation, how Lauren goes to a listing appointment. What does Lauren send prior to the listing appointment? What am I asking them to have ready when I get there so that we have all of this to go over instead of chasing my tail?
Wait, so you have figured out and follow up on how to like attach documents, because I cannot bring a live.
I will show you.
Okay, thank
So follow-up boss is kind of a pain in the butt when it comes to that. I do everything in just like a blank doc on Google Drive, whatever I want to attach, I copy it, and then when you copy it, the link goes into follow-up boss. So it is an extra step. Yeah, but then I don't have to keep it in the Google on the Google or you can do it in Microsoft Word, whatever you have open, just yeah. And then once you copy it, it embeds into that template.
you.
So that link is there. I'll show you. All right, so AI, we talked about that. I like Claude, that just works for me. And then obviously like that, the last piece of that is me. I'm the relationship, not the AI. So, all right, let's talk about my buyer system a little bit. And like, this is just kind of like a small snippet, but like, just to kind of show you guys, like, so from first contact, I have a text template already. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this in your phones, right? It's just a keyboard hack. I saw somebody on Instagram that did it. She did like a video 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I said, all right, I have to be consistent and implement this in everything. So as soon as that buyer drops in, I'm sending a text. It's 3 letters that I type and the text goes right to them. So then that starts our conversation, right? So once we get on the phone, which typically after that text, we set up a time, we're going to chat, whatever. I'm sending them an email template that I have again that has links to a buyer roadmap that I created in Google Docs, like nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just a little like step by step. And then something that we're going to talk about today, which is called High Note. So that is something that I pay for. It is, I feel, vital to my business and how I want to show up and be seen. And what that allows is it's a link and it tells you like, hey, let's put a face with the name and let's talk about Lauren and let's talk about the team that she works for. So by the time that we are getting any face-to-face time, they've already read all about me. They've read all about y'all. They've read all about what we do, where we sell, how many homes that we sell. All of this is one link that gets sent to them. And I'm telling you, hook, line, and sinker with sellers and buyers. I have an 87% rate on listings right now of conversion on every listing appointment I go to. So I really do attribute a lot of that to the High Note link because they already feel like they like, know, and trust me without me having to do a song and dance on social media. Because let's face it, it's really hard to grow on social media right now as an agent. So I had to and that used to be a big goal of mine, but now I'm like, I just got to shift and focus on the business that's in front of me. So then as soon as we've met, then they get the text intro with the lender, right? So if it's CCM, I've got, CCM template. That's like, that sends it right to me and Austin. There's a group chat. There we go. I don't need to sit here and type every little thing out. Those first 3 sentences, that takes so much pressure off of all of it to be able to be like, and this is so-and-so, and they're looking to buy a home. They're a first-time home buyer, whatever it is. As soon as we start a home search, again, it's a template. Like, everybody knows like how to go into MLS and do a home search. But a lot of people don't understand that they can go in there and they can reject the homes that they don't like and favorite the ones they do. And then the possibilities and what is it going to look like? So all of that is explained. So when we're going on showings, again, it's just like I send an itinerary. I treat them like, and every client gets the same. I don't care if we're shopping over $1 million or if it's for 250. Every client gets the same. As soon as we, are doing an offer and that offer gets accepted and goes out, all of those things, template. So when I tell you 84 templates, I know it sounds like a lot, but really is it? Probably not, right? Because think about like once I go under contract, the communication that has to happen between me as the buyer's agent and the listing agent, right? So I want to make sure that we're communicating and it's a template and it's just like, hey, we're under contract. Buyer's name, lender information, attorney information, due diligence, what's the plan, yada, yada, yada. I want to build that relationship with the listing agent, just like as the listing agent, I want to work with a good buyer agent. I don't want to work with a bad one. So it goes both ways. And I find that has been very relationship building in the business. So, same thing, appraisal, clear to close, all of it. So everything has a template, everything has a place. And it's like, if you were to actually like look in your inbox and then go to your sent folder and you ask Claude to say, can you audit this to see how many times I write the same thing? It would horrify you what comes back. So it's like, stop, I just felt like I'm on this hamster wheel all the time. How can I work smarter, not harder? And it literally just gave you these templates. Like it does all the work for you. You have to just do the work to implement them into the CRM as a template, as an email, and boom, it's done. It takes all of maybe 45 minutes to do this work. So this is just like, this is a sample of like what the buyer email, and it's longer here, but I just wanted to put it there. So another thing that I found to be very helpful when I was wanting to build all these systems is I would ask Claude to say, okay, I want you to audit this sent folder and I want you to tell me what's the trigger. Okay, so the trigger for this would be a consultation is booked with a buyer. Okay, then the template, it's already written. All right, the resources here. So I've got the buyer blueprint that I've done on a Google Doc, not a big deal. And then my high note, which I spent a little bit of time on, but again, they give you kind of like a template to go from. So it's really not, it's just really personalizing it. So those are my resources, the CRM. So once that we know this gets scheduled, it's really important that everything that you do gets scheduled through either Follow Up Boss or your Google Calendar. And I keep saying Follow Up Boss, but whatever CRM you use will connect to your Gmail calendar. So any appointment, anything that is moving forward for any transaction, whether it's like scheduling photos or whatever, you want to make sure that you're scheduling this because then your CRM will tell you this. And then you know every day, all right, what do I have? Because sometimes you can't remember, and then obviously we want to humanize that and personalize it. Obviously I send the same template, but I make sure to personalize it to each client, but the bulk of 75 to 80% of the work is already done for me. So it's really made it really easy. So you guys want to scan those are just like examples so you can see like what that roadmap looks like and what the high note looks like, and if it's something that you're interested in, I'm happy to show you.
Will you be willing to share this PowerPoint presentation with us? Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of you I've shared the buyer roadmap before in team meetings and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm happy to let you guys like take it, run with it, make it your own. Like it literally, like I built the entire thing. It took me about 20 minutes. Like, again, the power of AI is there, but I feel like, and me personally, I was just spending so much time in AI trying to like make sure that the prompt was perfect. And, and really all I needed to do was like, I need you to just look at my business and audit it and tell me what I need to fix, like, and take everything that I write 40 times and make it into a template, and boom, it does it. And then some of them I didn't like. So I would go in there and I would copy it and I'd make it the template and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to fix a couple things. You have full authority to do that. It just does simplify everything. Okay, good. All right. So same thing, seller system, everything has a handoff, everything has a template, everything is a text. The difference between listings obviously are a little bit more work heavy on the front end. So I just, again, found ways to get ahead of the game. So it's like every seller gets the same exact thing from start to finish. And then the ones that I want to like keep in the VIP, they go into that VIP pool. And then there's an entire SOP that surrounds that. And I would say this year, probably 75% of my business has been past clients. And whether it's been that they've called me to sell, or they've sent me their mom or their aunt or their brother or their best friend that's getting a divorce now. But I really do feel like my past clients, like having a system that's set up to make sure that I'm hitting them a few times a year has really been very beneficial to my business this year. Again, same, so it's the same listing, same process every time. Everything goes into a drive folder. Everything, from start to finish has the email template. Everything is scheduled in the calendar down to, hey, we've got photos this day, next day we're coming for sign and measurement, whatever it is. Everything gets the same exact treatment. I don't care what the price point is. Every seller gets the same thing. I do an upgrade sheet for every seller and I do a utility sheet. Like, everything is the same. And once you do it enough times, it just becomes repetitive that your client doesn't know that this is the same process that you're using for everybody. but it makes your life so much easier. It's just kind of like a sample of like, so if I put it in like that, everywhere else it goes in the CRM, everywhere, it's all under the same name. Like, I don't want to be like trying to chase my tail to find what, how I labeled this house. This right here was like the biggest game changer for me personally, because I'm very listing heavy right now in my business, and I do like to check in with my sellers every week. I sent it to Kristen the other day for one of her listings, and literally it is a skill that I built out in Claude, and I can show you guys how to do that through cowork. But I just literally was like, I need to check in with my sellers, and I was spending 3 to 4 hours doing that, trying to like pull all the CRMs and pull all the data and do all the thing and have all the reports. And I'm like, this is just too much, and my sellers seemed to really appreciate it, but it was killing me on the back end to have to do this and spend so much time. So I literally made a skill in my Claude Cowork, and now I literally upload 3 reports, and it spits out the same email to every single seller based on that data every week, and it drafts it to my email, and I hit send. I mean, and that's been like a game changer, because now it takes me about a half hour to pull all the reports and upload them each for each one. And then boom, it's done. And it types the email just like I want it. I don't want it all like, I've let it know how I want that. I gave this as the example, literally, and now it spits this out to me. Past clients, again, that everybody gets, for my VIPs. And I have a lot of people in the VIP category that have not, like I said, ever bought or sold with me, but I still make it a point to include them in anything that I'm doing as far as like year-round touches, and inviting them to a client event, whatever we've got going on, dropping something off at their house. And I feel like because of that, that has come back to me tenfold with having like random moms that I used to work out with that burn that are like, work with Lauren Wagner, she's great. Like 3 times to be tagged in one post feels really good, and gave me at least that endorphin rush, that same rush that we get when we get somebody under contract. It gave me that same like, okay, I don't always have to put somebody under contract to still feel good about what I'm doing in my business and to move that forward for me every day. All right, so how can you do this in your own business? So my biggest thing is I store it once and I access it wherever I need it. So obviously Google Drive lives at the top. That's kind of where everybody goes. That's where, and I know that for my business, my SOP, everybody, buyer, seller, whatever it is, everybody goes into the Google Drive under the same label for buyer and seller. My high note is how I get everything out to them as a resource. Obviously, my email is kept in templates and all that through my CRM. And then I have tons of keyboard shortcuts on my phone. And then I choose Cowork to use as the way to like kind of build and implement a lot of this in my business. Choose whatever you want, whatever works for you. So again, don't start by writing a million templates. Ask whatever AI to audit your sent folder. A big thing that I learned from Phil Stringer, actually taking one of his classes, was, okay, so what happened? What did you send? Will it happen again? Strip the details, add fields, and save it. So you want to tell your AI those things. I want you to audit my sent folder, and I want you to see what I'm writing over and over again, right? And I want to like, I want the label to be what happened. What was the thing that happened? We closed. We went under contract, and it will literally spit all of this out at you. Appraisal came in low, so we need to start a review of value. We're seeing that a lot more. So I've got a template for that. So what happened? What did you send? Will it happen again? Then you want to say, so I want you to strip the details. We want to add the field so you can literally implement and put these things in your brackets, plug and play, and then save it. That's it. That's literally how I built all of them. All right, so do you guys know how to do a text template on your phone, on your iPhones? I only know iPhone, so if you have an Android, I'm realized I don't know. But you guys know how to do that? Yes, no, no? Okay, do you want me to show you? All right, pull out your phone. So let's assume, right? So we're gonna do, I'm just gonna read you the last listing I just put up, 65 Powell Drive, okay? So I went into Claude and I wait until I get photos back and I put a few photos into Claude and or chat, whatever, and I say, this is my listing. Here's everything the sellers have done upgraded. We're paying a buyer agent commission, and any other pertinent details, right? I want you to humanize this and I need you to give me a text that I can send to every single showing agent that comes through when I get a showing. All right. So then I copy it. I go into your settings. Then go into general, then go into your keyboard. Everybody there? Second line says text replacement. Okay, that little arrow at the top is a plus sign. You hit it. Every single listing for me gets the same 4 like numbers and letters. So if it's 65 Powell Drive, it will go in as 65 PD. Okay, you hit add. When it asks you what the phrase is, you copy whatever it is that you just got from your Claude, making sure that it's like human enough and it doesn't sound like an AI bot. And mine always starts with, and Claude knows this now. Hi, it's Lauren Wagner from the April Stevens team. Thank you so much for scheduling a showing for your clients at 65 Powell Drive. I would love to work with you. And then boom, I go into just a few quick highlights for you. Because again, we've all been there where we're scheduling a showing in the car and we haven't had time to pull out. Okay.
So I'm sorry, I was watching it and trying to listen. So after you type in 65 PV,
So the phrase,
underneath it says like short.
yes, so the shortcut is going to be 65 PD.
Right, and then underneath it says something, right? I don't have my phone on.
Yeah, but that's not important.
So when an agent schedules a showing, does that automatically send to them, or is this something that you have to copy and paste and send?
No, but that's the point is I don't have to copy and paste it. When the showing comes through, I literally highlight the phone number on the email and I type 65 PD and the entire phrase spits out in the text message. Yeah.
Because you put it.
Because I put it in, it's a keyboard shortcut. That's how this works. So
I've never even heard of it before.
all right, so again, you're gonna paste your phrase, okay? Paste your phrase, whatever it is, however you want to say it.
PV.
And then my shortcut is 65 PD. That is my keyboard shortcut. Okay. That makes it easy. My brain is always going to remember that every listing I have is going to be the first 3 letters and then literally 1 letter from each street. Okay, that's it. Showing comes through, boom, I touch base. I do it with every single showing that comes through. I also have on here. So how many times are we on Facebook? And somebody's like, I need a real estate agent. And you're like, I'd love to help you. I have that text in here. So I can quick fire and I'm not sitting there spending 10 minutes trying to figure out how do I need to type this out and how should I, no, I'm sending them a DM. I'm not even posting on there. And it's worked for me twice. That DM and it's 3 letters and it spits out that whole entire paragraph about how much I would love to work with them and who I work for and where we're out of and what's important to us at the April Stevens team and all that jazz, right? Every single time. When I have a lender that's like, hey, we want to, or I have a buyer that's like, we want a lender introduction. Yeah, I've got one for Lisa Penny at Movement Mortgage. I've got one for CCM. And again, it's all quick fire things where I'm able to just plug and play. When somebody schedules a showing out at Cedardale, they get an email template from me with all the links, and then they get a text. And that text is CDT for Cedardale text. And it's like, hey, I'm Lauren Wagner. I'm the co-list out there at Cedardale. Yada, 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 yada. I sent you an email with the full breakdown. Please, I would love to talk to you about incentive for paying a buyer agent, all the beautiful things, right? This has made my life so much easier to be able to travel, to be able to be present for my daughter and take 2 seconds to do something that takes me 10 minutes per each listing. And it has just made my life that much better. And it allowed me to be able to communicate. Now they have my phone number. Now I can't help it. I had an agent call the task line yesterday and we've been talking for 3 days through text and he still called the top line. So, I mean, it's not going to work every time, right? But for the most part, it should work 99% of the time for you. All right. So you just everything in your business like has to have a partner. So you have to decide what that partner is. For me, I'm an SOP person, I'm type A through and through. I'm OCD, all the things, So you've got to have an SOP builder, a template builder, whatever AI you want to use, or whatever, if you just want to use, your CRM, whatever you need to use to build that. My AI also has a buyer experience assistant and a seller experience assistant. That's like when you really want to start getting into your AI to really hone in on creating these skills in your cowork. Obviously, update for life changing, life altering for my business. And then having a CRM, I don't care what it is, you got to have one. You got to have a CRM. It's so important to have that. All right, so here's a good one to build your SOPs. This was the exact prompt that I used. I asked it, I just kind of talk. I do a lot of talk to text too, so I just kind of talk to the AI. And then I literally said, I want to have steps, templates that I can use based off what I'm telling you, how I do my process. Deadlines that I may or may not need to be aware of, like DD deadlines, earnest money, whatever it is, tools, automations. I want you to check, make sure it's human, and then I want you to give me next step. And all of that spit out for me about 40 templates, just based off of me talking to text over how I do my process for a buyer or a seller. Just make sure with your AI that you give it a job, but you also have to give it a boundary. And that's something that I've learned the hard way is like, as long you have to say, do not move, do not delete anything, do not change anything. I just need you to give me X, Y, and Z. If you give your AI a boundary, I found that to be a lot easier. If you ever wondered, like, how can you tell sometimes you'll tell Chat or Claude one thing and then you don't like one thing about it and then it spits out something completely different? Well, I realized, okay, and so I just asked, how can I get you to stop changing it every single time? And it literally said, give me a boundary. And I was like, well, I'm a real estate agent. I don't have any boundaries. So, fair, good point. So audit everything first, then you implement. So for me, my business has 6 jobs to remember, to organize, to communicate, deliver, execute, and build an audit, right? You don't need another tool. You have to decide what's going to be good for you. Use what you already have. Use what you're already using. Use what already works for you and go from there. Like for me, I was paying for boards and I was like doing all this. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I can just be doing this in Google Drive. This would probably be a lot easier for me to be able to do this. So it's like once you just got to strip it all away. You don't need all the bells and whistles all the time to build these systems. So again, I say all of that to say this. What's that done for my business? Well, this year I've already closed $10 million in real estate and we're only halfway through. And I say that because I know that implementing these systems, doing 5 for 5, following up with these people has resulted in a business for me that is like, I can't even believe that I'm here right now at this place. And I went into this year with 14 active listings because I sat down in June of 2025 and said, I haven't picked up the phone. I have not done any lead genning at all. And I'm going to sit here and feel bad for myself when I haven't done any of the work. And that's when everything for me had shifted. And so, you look at that and you're like, you know what? That's proof that having a system. And yeah, guys, I'm not going to tell you that all of this isn't going to take you probably a full week's worth of work. We're talking probably close to 30 hours worth of work that goes into this, but you don't have to sit down and do it all at once. Break it out, start with 5. That's been my biggest thing. That 5 for 5, for whatever reason, just really resonates with me. So I started everything I do it in 5s now. So if it's like, okay, today I'm going to build 5 email templates and I'm going to put them in my CRM. Check it off. Done. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing. The next day, I'm going to do the same thing. Once you start doing that and you start realizing how easy it is to plug and play, you're going to want to do that with more because you're like, this is great. Like this just saves me literally 45 minutes that I didn't even know that I needed to have that 45 minutes. If for me, my biggest why, and I think it's important that you guys always like remember why do we do this, because like this market, especially this last 2 years, it will beat you down. I get it. But for me, you know, the biggest thing is I used to say, I'm a mom and I can't be present for my daughter while I'm trying to work. But the thing is like now I look at it very differently. My daughter's watching me build something after being a stay-at-home mom, right? So now my whole life has shifted and my daughter gets to be there hand in hand watching mommy build this. And for me, I was like, how can I do that without completely having to walk out because I'm so anxiety ridden over having to get these answers to this agent who won't leave me alone? We've all been there. And so for me, I was like, it's gotta be, I gotta work smarter, not harder. And I'm not gonna be standing in this parking lot anymore trying to find reception while I'm missing things that are going on for her. Or I'm on my phone constantly while she's getting an award at school or whatever it is. So that was like really the reason why I was like, it's, you know, it's great to have goals. Okay. It's great to close all the closings, right? And have all the listings and all the things. That's all fine, well and good. But not everybody has the same goals. So whatever it is for you, simplify your systems in your life that matter and work for who you are and who you want to be to your family, because that is the most important thing. Because this business will just kill us all. Like I'm surprised that we're not all having massive heart attacks. So yeah, like I said, find your five, you know, and if I can, if you guys like want to pull up your computers after this is over and everything, I can show you guys how to do it. You know, again, you have to pay for Quad Co-work and you have to pay for chat as what? Yeah, what is their platform? It's like chat work or something. It's really good too. And it connects to your Google and all that. So if you're like, hey, I'm very driven towards chat, like great, utilize that. If you really like Claude like I do, like great, you know, I liked it because it just made sense for me and how to connect everything. But once you start getting in there and playing around, it really, you know, it will help. So yeah, that's it. Hope I didn't-
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. What y'all think? Can you do this every other week?
I mean, yeah, the thing is, it's a lot, and not everybody realizes though, to automate your business is like, it's easier than you think it is, but it also is, it's tedious, okay? Like, it's not everybody's brain is like that. And I'm not saying you have to automate the way I do, but like for me, if you can just start with your iPhone and do text templates, like right there, you've just automated something in your business. If you're going in your CRM and saying, like, for me, birthdays are huge, and I love sending my clients a birthday card. So for me, I have their birthdays in my CRM. I love handwritten cards. Every single client gets a home anniversary card. I get that through Market Dwellings, $10 for a pack of 20. You know, you have to find the systems, but those are still systems. Whether or not they're automated and all fancy through AI, still a system. Right. So that's like, it's just cutting it down to those basics and literally it's just that.
I have some templates. I certainly have 84, but listening to you speak made you go, man, I need at least 100.